All right, guys. So I want to make sure you understand this when it comes to legalities with commercializing Jilly Juice in some way. Whether you're doing it out of your home or making it a drive-through thing, people don't understand Jilly Juice. I don't care if you are holding classes about Jilly Juice, you have the book, you're selling the book, and then you want to make Jilly Juice pre-made and you're selling it. I don't care if you give it away, Jilly Juice, it doesn't matter. But when you are selling Jilly Juice, selling it pre-made in jars through any kind of venue, you are opening yourself up for legal issues, legal ramifications. FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. And you can say, I'm not making any claims, I'm just selling. It doesn't matter. Do you realize every product on the market out there has to go through an FDA process? It has to go through all the different legal pathways to make sure that what you're selling is safe. Okay, when people are saying, okay, I charge $10 for the juice, and you do it on your own, well, okay, fine. I mean, no different than selling, um, your little like, your pies. But here's the thing with Jilly Juice. Jilly Juice is not a pie. People are not, eating a pie and saying, oh God. I mean, if somebody has food poisoning from a pie, guess what? They're going to trace it back to whoever made that pie and shut you down and say, hey, you cannot be selling these types of pies because you've made this person sick. So imagine you sell Jilly Juice and people are getting sick all over the place because they're healing. How are you going to explain this? How are you going to defend yourself on a legal platform? No, you don't want to put yourself in that kind of position. You never, ever commercialize Jilly Juice. You talk about it, you send the book so they understand, but you never, ever have transactions attached to ready-made Jilly Juice. Ever. Because now you're putting out an intention, and yeah, how do you explain when someone gets sick? So that's the antithesis of Jilly Juice, is to make it for somebody. Right, Christina? The whole point of Jilly Juice is to employ the independence in your community. People have to understand what Jilly Juice is. When you sell Jilly Juice on the open market, you're basically selling a cure. And then when they're like feeling sick, you basically false advertise that. I don't care how much you told people you're going to feel sick, you're going to feel this. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody or something that's not going to understand, not going to get it, think it's some kind of like quick cure because their attention span is like of a flea. And they're going to take Jilly Juice and be like, what the hell? I'm shitting everywhere. I'm having this issue and all this stuff. And then they're going to come after you and sue you for everything that you own. Do you really want to open yourself up to that kind of shit? Hell freaking no. Do not sell Jilly Juice on the open market as far as a remedy, as far as even as a food. Because I'm telling you, someone opens up that jar, it's not going to sell well, for one thing. And for another, you do not have the capacity to deal with the legal ramifications. Because now you're selling something that people are going to feel like they don't understand the whole point of it. And you cannot possibly give them the lowdown in a drive-through window. And I don't care how much you've sold Jilly Juice as far as the idea, the understanding. It's a no-no. And I don't want Jilly Juice represented that way because that's not the proper way anyways. I know why you asked, but you should never be doing that. That shouldn't even be crossing your mind, Tiffany. That should not even cross your mind. People have to make it on their own. People have to make it on their own to understand. That's why the book is there. If you're not promoting the book in some ways people understand this, then you're taking on as some kind of guru, health guru, that you have the answer. And then you're no different than some spiritual person back in the 1960s who's taking ayahuasca selling a cure. That's not the point of Jilly Juice. It's a misrepresentation. People have to do things on their own. This is an independent, individual process that someone has to actually conceptually understand it through reading on their own. Not someone telling them what they should do, not someone selling what they should do, and then saying, here's the juice. It'll do everything. They actually have to read the book, understand it, make it on their own, not have someone give it to them. I can understand if someone gives them a culture and then, hey, just make it on your own, but here's a starter. I don't care if you use a starter, but never ever get into the business of being somebody's health guru. Okay, they're disabled, then they can still make it. Then you get then you buy the ingredients and they make it. Then you make it there with them. Then that's fine. But you're not selling your services. If they're disabled, then they will find a way to. Cause I mean, they're gonna have to find a way anyways to make food, right? Well, I guess if you are a caretaker and they understand the process, then they can go make it. But a drive-through, a disabled person going through a drive-through, that doesn't make sense. Fine, they go through a drive-through, but then there's no different than going to the grocery store and buying their groceries and making it themselves. If they're that disabled where they can't even cook for themselves, then whoever's the caretaker has to then be able to do all their cooking and making it for them. But they're already getting paid to be a caretaker, but not to sell jelly juice, not to say, okay, here's the healing process. A disabled person wanting to heal will have to do it on their own. Or if they're that disabled where they can't even cook for themselves, then obviously them and the caretaker are in cahoots with each other, and they have permission from their doctor and permission from the people that are their next of kin to say, okay, it's okay for you to do this. Disability is not an excuse to go and commercially sell jelly juice. No, that's not a loophole that you're going to be able to get away with. If anything, that's going to put you more in hot water because they're disabled. They're disabled for a reason. And now they have to get themselves out of that on their own, not with you prodding them. They will have to get the book, read it. They will have to go, if they have to go get groceries delivered to them, and they go and they're in their wheelchair, and their wheelchair is in their kitchen is made for them to go and do, whatever. It's not that hard to make it. It's not that hard to make it. It's not that difficult. If you're able to get out of bed, which you should be, if you're disabled and you're in bed, then you have bigger problems that even you can't help them with. And that you're not even licensed to help them with that. Okay? But people have to learn how to reverse their own issues on their own. If they get permission from their loved ones and from their doctor to do this protocol, great. Help them out, but you do not sell jelly juice through any venue. You don't sell it. You show them how to make it. You help them get the ingredients. And if they want you to make it for them, great. But if you sell your time to them, what exactly is your intention? Okay? But you want to be out of that whole mixture in someone else's healing process as much as possible, because you cannot be that involved in someone else's sicknesses and whatever. Because then you will be the target if they don't understand, if they want to blame, and then, yes, lawsuits. Because you're acting as a doctor and you're not licensed to be a doctor. Nobody in my group is licensed to be anybody's doctor, anybody's caretaker, anybody's advisor. That's complete antithesis of J-Juice. It's a self-sufficient, independent thing. And if you're not self-sufficient, then you have to have the proper people to be advised on what's going on. And that's the world that they live in. Some people are too far gone. You can't help them. Okay? Take care of yourself, Tiffany, not other people. If they're independent enough to go get the groceries and go to a drive-thru, then they're independent enough to go and get the ingredients and make it on their own. Have a good day. Bye.